If you haven't seen part 1 yet, click here.
Alright, shelter's improving little by little. Now I just got a cheap shower curtain in there, and that's going to be my little super shelter in there. You can see inside. I'm going to have all my gear in there, and I'm going to be nice and toasty. So one thing I've been doing with my shelters, sometimes it's really difficult to get everything really taut, and a simple fix is this little thing here. So instead of tying everything together, I just grab the stick, cut a piece off, and I usually cut it right around where there's a knot. So this way, you can split the stick down the middle. You can use it as a clothespin. See the other side there? And I'm probably going to make a whole bunch of these and try to seal off the back end back there because it is open. I want to seal it off as best I can. And I'm probably going to put a couple on the front here. And I'm actually going to keep a couple with me because sometimes at night if I move, one of the clothespins will fall off. Instead of searching for it at night, I'll have a couple extra ones and I can close it up if it does open up. So it's always good to be prepared just in case something does go wrong. I tried using the clothespins before. They're not extremely effective, but they do work. So I'm going to carry a couple extra ones just in case it does come off at night. But I'm going to close off both ends. Start collecting some firewood. The sun's finally setting over there. Firewood collection time. Here we go. So the rule is, when you think you're done, get 3 times the amount. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're just going to use matches today. I just got this little container. I have 2 sets in here, some waterproof and regular matches. And one thing I always carry with me is a bag of dry tinder. If you spend time in the woods, you know that sometimes it's not easy to find dry material. So I just have a bunch of different stuff in here. Cedarwood bark, birch bark, some chaga. So I'm just going to grab a little handful here. Nothing much, maybe the size of a $50. And I'm going to stuff that down in the bottom there. And then grab the match. Light it up. So once it's lit, make sure all your materials are in a secure location, don't lose anything. So you want to try to create sticks that will fit inside the coffee can. If they're too long, they'll burn over the top and drop over the edge, and usually that's not good. You don't want to create the fire. It's a nice relaxing evening. Thanks for joining me, guys. So, my dinner for the evening, a canned good. A lot of people don't like canned goods. So this is my criteria on it. Yep, it's a canned good. Guess what? Comes in its own cooking vessel. You can take off the lid and even use it as a spoon by bending it in half. So all I have to do is just pop this open, throw it on the fire. People say it's too heavy. Well, it's heavy because there's food in it. Once you eat the food, it's just a tin can. Tin cans they're virtually weightless. Now granted, soup, it's mostly water and a lot of different other ingredients, but one thing I like about it is everything's there. It's already cooked. You just need to warm it up, depending on what you buy, of course. But so let's go over the pros. It's got its own cooking vessel. If you forget a utensil, you can bend the cap in half and use it as a spoon. I've actually done it before. And yeah, you get a nice tasty meal because it's already pre-cooked. There's plenty of spices and everything in there. I don't have to do nothing to it, just warm it up. It does come in a bulky can, so that's one con about it. And some people just say it's too heavy, but the reality is it's heavy because there's a lot of food. This is definitely going to fill me up one meal. Usually I'll eat half of this and give the other one to Cuckoo Bird. But yeah, it's a full, it's 14.5 ounces of food. That's 411 grams right there. Jam-packed. A lot of protein in here. A lot of fruits and vegetables, and it's very tasty. So I like canned goods, and all I gotta do is bloop, put it right up there and warm it up. You don't even have to warm it up, actually. You can just open it up and eat it that way. So that's why I like canned goods. They are a bit bulky, that's the only bad part. But you get a good, tasty meal, and this has died down in a matter of seconds. So one thing about having a hobo stove, or any type of cook stove, it's extremely efficient at burning wood, and because it basically keeps all the heat contained, so the wood's going to burn rapidly. So you constantly have to feed it fuel, and then this goes with every single camp stove, from the BioLite stove that charges your phone to any type of camp stove that you can buy. It's basically fuel efficient. That's the point. It creates a bed of coals really quickly. It's not meant to keep you warm or burn for a long time. It's meant to create a nice bed of coals rapidly, and that's what it does here. So I'm gonna load this up. Once you get a decent bed of coals in there, you can start throwing larger twigs in there and go from there. So that's my take on canned goods. Sorry for the ramble. But I personally like canned goods. It's already there, already cooked. Just throw it on the fire, warm it up, and then you gotta haul out the can, but that's about it. Same thing with any other food that you bring, you still gotta haul out the trash that it comes with. It's not like you can eat the plastic bag that it comes in. But then you have another cup. I can probably clean this out, and if I forgot a cup to make coffee, which I didn't this time, got my cup here, got my coffee in a tin there, so if I forget to bring a cup, I can use it as a cup as well, and boil water with it. Plenty of uses to have a tin can, I'm sure you guys know. But I'm just rambling on here. It's a beautiful day in the woods today. It's not too cold yet. Hopefully this shelter keeps me warm. I might even just keep this cook stove in there and see if that'll keep me warm. Just keep a bed of coals in there and a small stack of sticks. I don't know if it's going to work, but you can try it. Right? It's the only thing you can do is try it. You want to experience something new? Don't talk about it. Get out there and try it. So I'm trying a new shelter here. Sorry for yelling at you guys. Some random configuration. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see if I stay warm. It's my first time using I don't know what you want to call it, hobo stove. Woo! Smoky. So one thing I noticed when you have something on there, say if I'm cooking coffee, once it's done cooking, you put it down and it cools down pretty rapidly. But if you move the stove over and place the whatever you're using to cook with on the location where the stove was, it'll still stay warm because that ground's going to be warm below that. So I can easily, once this is done, pour my coffee, instead of placing it on the ground and having it cool down, I can move this over and place it on the warm spot that it was on. One thing about cans as well, you need a can opener. Some of them you can pop open by themselves, but not this one. So luckily, piece of my EDC. Uh-oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. Can opener. I forget what it's called. I think it's a P36 or P38. One of those Ps. Very convenient little piece of gear. I think it was 50 cents. Army Navy store. Basically pop it in, pinch it down, and then you go all the way around. It's a little tedious, but the reality is for such a compact tool, it is extremely effective. So I'm just going to warm this up on the fire, stir it up a little bit, and I'll get back to you guys. One thing I want to show you guys is my fork and spoon here. I have a military fork and spoon. I'm not exactly sure if there's a model or whatever, but I got it at the Army Navy store, Army Surplus store. And check out this spoon design. It's got a nice point to it, and guess what? It's excellent for soups. You can get down in those little ridges and scoop out all the goody goodness and lick it clean. But yeah, guys, I want to encourage more people to get out in the woods. I know it's cold this time of year in January here in Rhode Island, but with the right equipment, it makes it relatively easy. Now I didn't bring a sleeping bag or nothing, so if I brought my sleeping bag, you know, I wouldn't need all this shelter material. Sleeping bag would keep me warm. And there's little tricks you can do to stay warm in nature. Layer up! Oh, what are you guys doing? You didn't check out Wiggle Outdoors yet? Go check them out right now! Thanks for the intro, brother. Thanks for the intro and the smoke goes in my eyes. Wild camping. Why do I do it? There's something about hiking into the woods and not knowing where you're going to spend the night. Just randomly picking a location, setting up camp, and just spending the night. The best part about it is, you know, it's always a different experience when you get out here. You never know what you're going to come across or what you're going to stumble upon. Oh, I smell the food. Usually that means you gotta stir it. Gotta go, guys. So it's getting dark, as you can see. Now that I've just been lounging around camp, my body temperature is starting to drop. You know, I'm not sweating, I'm not building up any more body heat, so chances are I'm gonna start getting really cold. Now's the time to layer up. So let me show you what I got for layers. I just have an Under Armour, and I have two other synthetic t-shirts. So I have 3 layers on, and then I have this external, it's basically like a raincoat. And for my feet, currently I have 1 layer of wool on, and I'm going to put my second layer on right now. Let's see if I can balance here. I also have Under Armour for my legs as well, whatever that's called. And just a regular pair of cargo pants. So I have 2 pairs of wool socks on. Put my shoe back on, see if I can balance. There it goes. For my chest, I have a thin wool sweater, and I have a really thick wool sweater. Alright, so now I got 2 wool sweaters on, 2 synthetic t-shirts, and then another synthetic Under Armour. So basically I got 5 layers on, and my shell layer, which is extremely important, is a rain jacket, or basically any type of windbreaker material. Now from my honest experience with using wool, like I said before about my wool socks, wool is extremely good if you're, you know, hiking along or if you're stopping for a short period of time. But if you're sleeping overnight, you know, I'd recommend putting a shell layer on. So the wool is definitely going to insulate my body heat, but it's breathable and it's going to allow your heat to escape a little bit. And like cold weather conditions like it is today, it's just not enough for me. So I have the external layer, which is basically my raincoat or windbreaker material, and it works perfectly great. For the same thing with my feet, that's why I wrap it up in the tarp like that, because it is breathable and it's great. It's basically good for, you know, sitting around camp and lounging around. But if you're going to go for about 4 or 5 hours in a still position like sleeping, then it's too breathable for me, in my opinion. But wool is definitely excellent for an insulation layer, and it's getting kind of dark, so I got everything all bundled up. I have really thick gloves. They're leather gloves. Not real leather, like pleather or something like that. And I got a wool hat that I found at a thrift store. Guess how much I paid for this hat? $3. Hell yeah, I bought it. And also for my legs, I have these waterproof rain pants, which is basically going to be my shell layer for my legs. From my experience, it's very important to have a shell layer that's going to basically insulate the heat. Wool will hold your heat, but it won't keep it insulated for a long period of time. So this will hopefully provide that extra layer that I need to keep my body heat contained. So I'm going to throw that on later at night. It's a little uncomfortable wearing all these layers, so usually I just do it when I'm ready for bed. I apologize if you guys can't see. My second layer for my head is a baklava, or a face mask, whatever you want to call it. I bought it at the Army Navy store. It's pretty, I think it's wool. It's dark green, and it's very constricting on my head. It's a little bit too small for my head. So again, I only use it when I'm, you know, about to go to bed, or if I really do get cold, I throw it on. So it's not really comfortable to wear around, just walking around normally, but if I do get too cold, I definitely throw this on. if you guys can still see, but one thing I recommend you do is before you're getting ready to go to bed and sleep in your camp, collect all your material. Probably should do this before it gets dark. Collect all your gear, you know, store it in your bag or keep it in a location so when you wake up in the morning, you know, all your gear is in one spot and you know where it is and you don't lose it. Usually, you know, running around camp, I'll leave my cup over here, my knife over here, and eventually, you know, sometimes you lose gear. So it's very important to, before you go to bed at night, collect all your material, keep it in your bag, keep it with you so you know where it is. So I'm gonna hit the hay, I'm gonna get this fire going. Maybe I'll pull out the camera and record the fire when I'm in the shelter, but till then, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all my viewers, all the views and support. I'll see you in the morning.
Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. You want to see more? Click on another video. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram when you get a chance. Let's face it, without you guys, I'm just a man talking to a camera.